Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at WILDMAN Lifts, and I'm doing episode 2 today, starting off with the deadlift. No chains this time, as you can see. Also threw on some shin guards with the orange shorts, the traditional WILDMAN shorts, which I typically like to wear. I'm going to be working up to a heavy set today, so we'll see what that looks like once I get to my top sets. Now, as I'm going up in weight, I'm going to be doing some mountain climbers. Great core exercise, but it's also good for your chest stabilizers and your feet mobility as well, particularly your ankles. And then once I was done with that, I'd immediately get up and I'd run 3 times back and forth across the bullpen like this. Not very fast, as you can see, just kind of jogging it, just trying to get everything nice and warm for the deadlift, and also trying to get some conditioning in as I'm going up on weight. That's going to be the strength giant set for the day. Now, the reason why I'm wearing those shin guards is because I found with the barbell, it kind of cuts up my shins as I'm doing deadlifts because that bar has got to be close. And since it's close, it might, catch a little piece of the skin as it goes up. Now, I usually wear long socks that are thick, so that kind of combats this a little bit. But I was wearing ankle socks today, so I didn't really have that much protection on my shins. And with the axle bar, when I was training with the axle bar, I never had to worry about that because the axle bar is smooth. It doesn't have any knurling on it that catches the skin. So I gotta, wear the equipment that's gonna keep my shins from getting bloody. I know a lot of deadlifters that do a lot of deadlifting without them, and they do it without shoes either. But I'm not trying to do any of that. I want to feel confident when I'm going up on the heavy weight that I don't feel like I'm gonna, have to second guess myself because I have to consider my barbell hitting my shins and causing some issues. So that's the reason why I'm doing that for the day. Now I'm going to switch over to the singles format where I'm only going to do one deadlift until I get to my top sets, because the idea is on episode 1, I had the chains and I did 470 pounds total. Now this time the plan is to go to 455 pounds and then maybe try to rep it out once I'm at the top of the movement and just rep it out for some repetitions to see how that feels, because the idea is I don't want to push it too hard or too fast. I want to make sure that everything is moving smooth. And then as I'm going up to my top sets, and by the time I get to 500 pounds, I want it to not be so much of a, am I going to hit it or not? I want to make sure that I'm building appropriately. And I really feel like it's really important to build appropriately by making sure that you're doing and lifting the appropriate amount of weight for the appropriate amount of reps. So this was my second to top set where I was just doing 425. So last time I added chains to that 425, that made it 475 pounds at the top of the lift, or excuse me, 470 pounds. So today I'm just adding those 15 pounders to that side, and I'm going to do 455 pounds for reps. But I didn't really know how this was going to go because I've been working a lot and I wear a duty belt, and it kind of like agitates the nerves in my hips. But I'll tell you right now, this first rep, it really moved very quickly. It felt heavy in my hands, but when I watched the video, that couldn't have gone any faster. But when I went for the second rep, it should have been easier, and you could see that that was a grind. So I didn't want to do a third rep, even though I probably could have eked it out, because that wasn't the point for the day. I don't want to blow up my central nervous system before I even get started. So I ended up just setting that down, finishing up the giant strength training, and then I moved on to the variation giant set, which was going to be the Snatch-Grip Deadlift. That's where you put your hands out super wide, and then you do a deadlift. And the idea is that's going to really build up your upper back because your hands are out a lot further. So I go right where that line is just before it gets to like the end of the barbell. That's where I usually put my hands for the Snatch-Grip Deadlift. And I'm not doing it in singles format. You can see that as I'm going up in weight, I'm just trying to rep it out instead of just like completely letting go of my brace and doing that. Sometimes I do that with the Snatch-Grip Deadlift for the variation portion. But today I'm trying to build that upper back because the idea is as I get heavier on the deadlift, I want my upper back to be able to finish the movement. And I see a lot of deadlifters do this. And last time I think I did this, I only went to like maybe 245-ish. I can't remember what I went up to. But this was feeling pretty easy. So this is the most I've actually ever done on the Snatch-Grip Deadlift, I believe. And it was feeling really good. And I couldn't really quite explain it, but I just kind of decided that I was going to do this last round, and I was going to try to do 6 reps with 365 pounds, which ended up going very good. And I could have actually kept going. So this was actually off to a really good start. I was really happy with how this went today. And it was something I could push a little bit harder since I didn't get that third rep on the 455. And I just kept in the same format as the strength giant set, where I'd be doing those mountain climbers and then running back and forth gingerly across the bullpen, which was getting slower and slower because I was getting tired. Now for the assistance giant set, because I want to really work on that upper back, I'm doing what's called a Pendlay row. Now this is kind of nice because I'm stuck in that stagnant form. So I'm really feeling that static burn in my hamstrings as I'm doing this. And then because I'm pulling the bar up to my back with my hands out wide, I'm making that a whole lot better on the back to get some burn. Then I moved on to what's called look backs, which you saw in my last video, but I was doing a lot more because I really wanted to make sure that I was targeting those hamstrings and my obliques and my upper back a little bit by doing that little twist movement down. I really like doing this on my deadlift days. I found I really feel like that it really does help the deadlift. Great movement to do to complement it once you burn it out. And then, oh boy, look at me really running slow now. I was really feeling it in my legs from those look backs. Now for the accessory giant set, I want to go a little heavier on the biceps than I normally do. So I was doing some barbell curls. And yes, it's kind of a little bit cheating. I'm using a lot more traps than I typically would because it's out in front of me and I'm hinging over a little bit. But this is really good for the biceps for strongman. And then I was doing some hitchhikers as well as the sun is starting to set. It was beautiful out. Love working outdoors for this reason. But this is just for my shoulder longevity, mobility, and health. And then I was doing that close grip braided band hold for a lot longer this time because I really want to make sure I was getting that burn and I was hitting that upper back really hard. And that was the total workout for the day. Really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I'll see you next time for episode 3. Thanks.